You probably think the world is becoming poorer, more unequal, and completely broken. And honestly, the internet makes it feel that way every single day. Billionaires buy private jets like toys while millions of people still struggle to eat. Entire generations feel stuck. Rent explodes, salaries barely move. And everywhere you look, people keep saying the same thing. The system is collapsing. But what if I told you the biggest thing we believe about the world is statistically wrong? Because over the last 30 years, billions of people escaped extreme poverty. Not millions, billions. And today, we're going to travel through every level of human wealth, from families surviving on less than $2 a day, all the way to people so rich they literally make money faster than you can breathe. But before we start, answer these two questions in your head. Where do most people on Earth live today? In poor countries, middle-income countries, or rich countries? And second, since the year 2000, has global inequality increased or decreased? Don't answer too fast. Almost everyone gets at least one of these wrong. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why. Part 1. Extreme poverty. Let's start at the very bottom. Imagine waking up every morning without electricity, running water, internet, or even certainty that your children will eat tonight. For hundreds of millions of people, this is still normal life. In some of the poorest countries on Earth, families survive on less than $2 a day. Houses are often built with mud bricks. Water has to be carried manually for kilometers. Cooking happens over open fire. And when you grow up in conditions like this, every small problem becomes life-threatening. A bad harvest, a disease, a broken roof. One disaster can destroy an entire family. But here's the first thing most people don't realize. This level of poverty no longer represents most of humanity. Not even close. Part 2. The rise of the global middle. Because something historic happened over the last few decades. Countries that used to be desperately poor started developing faster than anyone expected. Take Bangladesh. A country many people still imagine as hopelessly poor. But reality looks very different now. Today, most households there have electricity. Families have phones, access to clean water, metal roofs, schools, and basic health care. And here's the crazy part. In some ways, modern Bangladesh already has better living conditions than parts of Europe had just 50 years ago. That completely changes how we should think about development. Because the world isn't split into rich countries and poor countries anymore. Most humans now live somewhere in the middle. And almost nobody realizes it. But wait until you see what happens when we reach the top 1%, because the numbers become so absurd they stop feeling real. I'm talking about people making more money in 1 minute than entire families earn in years. And one billionaire whose wealth increased so fast that stopping to pick up $100 from the ground would literally waste his time. Part 3. The modern world. As countries become wealthier, something fascinating happens. People move from villages into cities, birth rates fall, technology spreads everywhere. Suddenly, families that once struggled for survival begin worrying about completely different problems. Transportation, education, career opportunities, internet speed. That's why countries like Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, and China transformed so dramatically in just one generation. And eventually we arrive in wealthy countries. Places where most people have stable housing, healthcare, cars, smartphones, vacations, and social security systems. But this is where the story becomes complicated. Because even though rich countries still have some of the highest living standards in history, millions of people inside them feel like they're falling behind. And they're not imagining it. So while globalization lifted billions out of poverty, it also created new frustration inside wealthy nations. And that frustration is one of the biggest political forces on Earth today. Part 4. The top 1%. Now let's leave countries behind completely and enter the world of extreme wealth. If your total wealth is over $1 million, congratulations. You are part of the global 1%. And that doesn't necessarily mean private jets and yachts. In many cases, it simply means owning property in an expensive city. But then things escalate very quickly. To enter the top 0.01%, you need tens of millions of dollars. This is the world of celebrities, hedge fund managers, tech founders, and private aviation. And then there are billionaires. Only a few thousand people on Earth belong to this category. Yet together they control a shocking percentage of global wealth. And nobody represents this era better than Elon Musk. At certain periods, his wealth increased by over $1,000 every second. Every single second. That level of wealth is almost impossible for the human brain to comprehend. So after seeing all this, let's go back to the question from the beginning. Has global inequality increased or decreased? Most people instinctively say increased, because we constantly see billionaire lifestyles online. We see luxury, excess, and inequality everywhere. But globally, the answer is actually more complicated. Inequality inside many countries has increased, but inequality between countries has decreased massively. And that matters because billions of people are now living better lives than their parents ever imagined possible. The world still has enormous problems. Corruption, housing crises, rising costs, wealth concentration, political instability. But at the same time, humanity also made incredible progress. And maybe the most dangerous thing isn't ignorance. Maybe it's believing we already understand the world when we actually don't. If this video changed the way you see the world, subscribe for more stories told through data, psychology, money, and technology. And comment below which part shocked you the most. See you in the next video.